I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, everyone? This is DYANAROZAY. Welcome to the channel. Come on in. We are here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 9, episode 4. And yeah, I actually like this episode a lot, you guys. So I'm just going to jump into it. I know people are here. If you did not see the comment that I had placed on my community wall and on the chat, I basically said that we are going to do an old school YouTube. Old school YouTube means that everybody is welcome and everybody can have an opinion. Because when I do other TV shows like Married to Medicine or Real Housewives, and I talk about Phaedra or whoever these people are, there's people in the chat that will have really colorful things to say. And it's all good. There's no problem. But for whatever reason, where we are on YouTube right now is absolutely ugly. Really good YouTubers are being attacked. They have been attacked for what 2 years now? And there's just no tolerance for anything anymore. It's like terror cells are being created all over YouTube, and people are being ran off and talked about and humiliated for months and months and months and months. So all I want to do is have a good live where we talk about a TV show, a show that people are on, that sign contracts and keep signing contracts to be a part of. And sometimes people don't get it right. I mean, we are all human. The people on the show don't always get it right. The people that's talking about it may say some shit that you don't like, but it is okay. I used to have a chat where people used to come up and say, you know what, Dyana, I did not agree with you. When you said X, Y, and Z, I didn't agree with you, but you didn't kick me off your platform. I still am able to come on and talk about it and share my view. And it didn't even occur to me to kick you off my platform because you have a different opinion. I've never done it. I've never done it. I've never told people not to follow people or any of that shit. This is just how I run my platform. But sometimes I guess these rules that are out there are so stringent that you guys come over and you think that I'm processing like everybody else. I don't process like that. I don't do that to people. I'm not going to do that to people. I want you to come over here and feel like you have an opinion and you could say things that you want to say without all that extra bullshit that goes on. It's just not how I run my platform. I talk about some of the, the Love and Marriage Huntsville sector. And I guess sometimes we all get put in the same group. I don't want to be in the group. I'm saying it out loud. What I want to be is a YouTuber that allows people to come in to my chat, have a good time. If there's something that they see on TV that they relate to, and they can say, hey, guess what? I went through this experience too, and I understand what this person is going through. Whatever team or squad you represent, I want you to feel safe enough to say it and know that you won't be kicked out of here, and that I'm not going to come after you because you have a different opinion, and that I'm not going to let my chat go after you for having a different opinion. That's it. That's how I want this to operate. And it's how it used to operate. I was on this platform when I was going live 3 years ago, and this was the situation. And people would come up and talk, and, it was fun. And it has become something else, and it's disgusting to me. Like when I watch it, I just sit there with my hand rubbing my temples. I just want us to have a good time. It's TV. This shit happened 9 months ago, and these people have gone on 18 vacations with my viewing dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do my part in helping not just Love and Marriage Huntsville, but any show that I talk about keep money in their pocket. These people have gone on 18 vacations. I haven't been on one yet. Not one this year. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, and you guys do what you're supposed to do. We don't have to be a terror cell. That's all I'm saying. Okay. If y'all need to rewind it back, that's cool. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but the problem is, Kevin, that these people come onto my shit every night. They have one comment, they'll leave something nasty and raggedy, and then other content creators are having conversations in back rooms or wherever the fuck ever they have them. And they literally send people after people. That's why I am saying this on my channel. I'm saying it to let people know that the shit got to stop. And if it doesn't stop, let it rock on wherever the fuck it wants to rock on. It just won't happen on this channel. I'm saying it out loud. I've posted it on my back wall. I've told people what this channel represents, what I've been about, and yet and still it's just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You must work for Carlos King, this, that, and the other thing. And it is so annoying that it only takes one to keep this nasty shit going. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying it out loud. I'm expressing myself. I'm saying to any other content creator that wants to come from under that craziness, just do it. Just do it. Because if I'm drained, and I know subscribers are drained just based on some of the other stuff that I see, we're just going to have to make a decision to stop being ugly. We just got to make a decision to stop doing it, period. Because if you don't, then we are going to be under a dictatorship of what can be said. And then people go after people. And it's not just going after people, because we all run business platforms. Let me say that too. The YouTube channel is a business platform. In order to be a partner with YouTube, they give you a list of rules. They do a stringent background check. They have to send letters to your home to make sure that you are who you say you are. And you have to put PIN codes into a system. If you had any idea what it took to build a channel that you could be a partner to YouTube for and make money, you would understand what some of these content creators are doing. Because trust me, when they're demonetized for not following the rules, and it does not matter if they made $10 or $10,000, they all come out and cry. I've been demonetized. Oh my God, this happened to me. All I'm saying is nobody's doing this shit for free. We come on this channel to speak to you guys because we enjoy doing it. No doubt we enjoy doing it, but it's also a business. This is a business, whether you work it part-time, full-time, or never. It's a business, okay? So that's all I'm saying. That's it. So we can get started. I just wanted to say that out loud. You can say what you want to say about anybody that is on this TV show. It is an opinion. It actually helps balance the platform when we are all able to talk about what we want to talk about. We just don't want to go after each other in the chat. There's no reason for that, okay? All right. Now we can get to it, okay? Right. I just want to be fair. That's it. I had put that picture up of Martell and Destiny. Let's see if I can do it again, child. Okay. Sorry about that. But I did want to get it off my chest because I was able to find some things out and it really blew my mind. And I don't want that to be the case for my channel. I want everybody to feel welcome. And we're going to get started, okay? I got 300 of you are in here right now. I need y'all to hit the like button, become a subscriber if you are not already. We are talking about a TV show, okay? Some of the things that we are watching on this show may be people's real life. A lot of it is produced, though, so keep that in mind. We see little bits and pieces of shit, not the whole story. So I'm going to tell you guys what I see. This is my version, my commentary, all right? You can disagree with me. I have no problem with that. I hope I see you next week or whenever I do my next video. You won't get kicked off my channel for disagreeing with me. What I do have a problem with is you just, being ugly, harassing, bullying, that type of shit, right? But we are going to talk about these people on this show, starting with Martell and Destiny. This look like the forest. So this is the only picture that I have. This scene was funny to me. It was funny to me for a lot of reasons, but Martell and Destiny are the first people to come onto our screens. They are meeting up to rehash a couple of things, talk about what's going on in their life. We find out that Destiny's dad is, going back into treatment. Things are not the best for him, and she's sharing that with Martell. I do wish her father the best, because it sounds like this has been ongoing for what, 2, maybe 3 years it's been going on. So I can't even imagine. So I wish that the best. However, Destiny and Martell are sitting on this bench, and they just started talking about the girls' trip. Okay. Now, if you were paying attention to Destiny's face, this is the problem. This is what was killing me. Destiny went through a range of emotions. She starts off this conversation by saying, oh, I was, letting Melody know, because I don't know how many faces Melody got. Well, baby, how many faces did you have in this damn scene after Martell played your ass? Because you didn't realize that Martell was going to become his full self. Destiny gave us at least 18 faces in this scene alone. She said, I don't know how many faces Melody got, 5, 6, 10. But she was catching Martell up on the conversation about what went down in St. Thomas. And she said, listen, I brought up to Melody that she is, how did she put it? You were helping old girl respectfully cheat. Now, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Martell goes, yeah, she was teaching her, because she basically pushed me out the house and forced me to cheat. And then I guess it was just so she could have something to talk about. These two were having 2 different conversations. Did she teach her to respectfully cheat or not? It's the question. Martell was just trying to get out that Melody forced him out the house. Destiny was trying to do what they talked about, which is you're supposed to make it seem like it was, it was all good. Like everybody had made a decision to blah, blah, blah. Martell did not bite on that part though. And then he ended up throwing everybody under the bus. So after doing that, and even when he did that, because he said, well, Melody was out there doing her own thing, Destiny was still making faces like, well, damn, we didn't talk about that. We didn't agree to that. I mean, she literally was like, what? All of these faces in that one scene Destiny was making. And I could not believe it, because I was like, Destiny, this is typical for a narcissist. They will draw your ass in, make you think one thing, and then when you are on their team, on board, they will throw you under the bus just as sure as you're sitting there. Because right now, Martell is speaking all kinds of compliments over Destiny. She's my friend, and all she has to do is say the word, and I'm out. That's what he said about Moses and Sonny. If Destiny told me to, I'm out, because I respect friendship. You know what I'm saying? I put my friendship with Destiny. Shit, that's high on my my list of shit, right? He's saying all of this on camera because you can tell that they've teamed up. At least I can right now. And then when he put her in the scene where she thought it was just going to be maybe a little light shade or disrespect, it turned out to be something completely different. Something completely different, and it was caught. Destiny did not know how to keep a straight face. Martell went from saying that to Melody was out there doing her own thing. Then she asked him about Trish and Ken, and she was like, well, tell me a little bit about that. What the hell's going on with that, right? And he goes, well, I didn't know that Ken was, even a factor. Or not Ken, excuse me. I think it was Marquez, because she said, did she tell you that she was married? And he said, I didn't know anything about it. Now she's like, damn, what's going on? Because again, Destiny is making faces like, this isn't how we talked about this, or I didn't know you were going to go this hard against these people. Maybe that's the face. She didn't know they were going to go that hard. But she said, so what, did y'all just Netflix and chill? And Martell was like, no chill. We watched Netflix. That's it. And he said, I really appreciated Ken, because Ken literally was like, it happened before me. It's not that big of a deal. So he was like, I appreciated that he was, that was his sentiments, because Marsau was trying to start some shit by bringing up that conversation. Okay. So now Destiny is like, okay, we're on to the next part. We're on to the Marsau part, which she seemed okay with at first. Martell says, I'm tired of Martell's shit. I'm tired of Marsau's shit, excuse me. Martell says, I'm tired of Marsau's shit. Why does he always have to bring up me and what I had going on? You know what I'm saying? That shit's in the past. He never talks about what the hell he was doing, him or Maurice. To which Destiny was like, that's true. That's true. Destiny gets in confessional and she says, Marsau, has certain standards. And some might call it double standards. Some might call it double standards. Okay. But she didn't realize that when, again, Martell was going to go as hard as hell on Marsau by saying, at the end of the day, Marsau was out there fucking just as many women, or having just as many women as he is claiming I do. Okay. He was like, he has been screwing everybody. He is not faithful at all. Now, I asked y'all in the poll if you thought that even right now, 2024, this show's been on this is the 9th season, Martell should leave Marsau and his marriage out of his mouth. Is he doing too much to his marriage? Or if y'all thought all was fair on reality TV. That's the poll. It is up right now. 297 of you voted, and y'all said no, all is fair in reality TV. 75% of y'all said that. Only 15% said leave Marsau's marriage alone, and 9% of y'all said that y'all were on the fence. Y'all didn't know which way to swing. So yeah, a lot of you are okay with the storyline. I just wanted to see because it's going to get even worse next week. And I told y'all a couple of months ago that it felt like Marsau was kind of aligning himself with Melody, even going to the Millimeter event. I think that might have been like maybe close to the finale. I think Kimmy was there, Maurice was there. Marsau went by himself because Tisha was traveling. And I said, y'all, it feels like Marsau may be aligning himself closer to Melody because of what is going on between him and Martell right now. And a lot of y'all were like, that's not true. Check this out. Martell and Marsau are into it for real, for real. That is what it's giving. Okay. But y'all talk to me in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. I'm reading some of y'all. I realized that Martell went that hard on Martell to deflect from the fact that he cheated while married to Trish. I think that Melody was out of the house. And I think that Mel had explained that when she was outside of the house, she was, had moved on. She was not expecting to ever come back, because it does sound like Trish went to their house. I don't think that would have happened otherwise, but I think that Melody had already filed for divorce. I think Trish also says that. I don't actually think that they did anything. And the only reason why I say that is because I think that Martell would have just come out and said it. When he says to Ken or to Marsau, and then in doing it, dogged Trisha, and then, disrespected Trisha and Ken at the same time. When he said, listen, nothing happened. When she got to the house, she didn't look as bad as I think she is now. Bad meaning I didn't think she was as fine as she is now. But if I wanted to, I will slide into whoever's DMs. I think that he was saying that because he was pissed and he was just letting it all fly. I don't think that he tried to check his mouth at all. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there and just say, I think that at the beginning he wanted people to think shit, but I don't think that was the case afterwards. And everybody keeps saying that everybody's afraid. Let's see, Martell already lost everything. He is about to expose everything we already knew, but I'm here for it. Yeah, when I said that all bets are off, y'all remember, I believe it was season 5 reunion. Martell said, I told y'all I would never tell, and I won't. I don't think Martell gives a shit what he says about the Scotts at this point. It could be truth or a lie. He's going to say it, and he doesn't care what they have to say about him because he's not married to Melody anymore. You can tell that there's a switch in his head, just like there's a switch with Melody. Neither one of them at this point are trying to protect anything anymore. Okay. There used to be a time when someone would talk about Martell and what he used to do, and he would just shut all the way down. He wouldn't say a word. He would just sit there like eyes bucked open maybe, but he wouldn't say anything. Now he is fighting back. When he said that shit to Marsau last week, and what if I did? I can do whatever I want. I can slide into whoever's DMs I want if I want to. Like, he was that matter of fact. And when he said that, I went, oh, he doesn't care about hurting feelings anymore. When you don't care about hurting feelings, anything's going to come out your mouth because you're almost begging people to come for you. Period. But it was a switch. It was a switch. That's not the Martell we had seen in the past. So whatever's going on, it's going on. It's going on and it's going down at this point. But the conversation did not stop there. Let's see. What else did they talk about? They talked about Ken. Okay, so that was pretty much it. At the end of the day, Destiny did not know what she signed up for. Destiny did not know what she signed up for. When she came for that little meetup, she came late. And Martell handed her ass to her. If she films with another scene with him, hopefully she's prepared because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's gonna say whatever. She looked like she wanted just to get up and walk away, and she couldn't. Okay. Let's see. Marsau, don't come over Mel's team now. Well, Marsau, let some of y'all tell it, has always been on Mel's team. We've seen him fight his own wife. He's fought Trisha to side with Mel on some things and said, listen, you don't take accountability for certain things. I'm with Mel on this one. He brought Trisha to tears season 1 or season 2 when Melody apologized to Trisha and said, listen, I shouldn't have said that shit about Marcel being out there cheating or whatever. I apologize to you. Trisha didn't accept it. She went home. She was all proud of herself. She was like, this is what I said to Melody. And he said, Trisha, do you want this shit to keep going? He got so upset with her. And she literally started crying in the kitchen on camera. That was early season. So, yeah. I mean, Marsau's pretty much been out there saying whatever he wanted in the first place. Hell. Anyway, let's move on to the next scene, which is Melody and Ne Fletcher. Y'all... I didn't know what I was watching, okay? Let's see. I didn't know what I was watching. Ne Fletcher comes over. You know, she looks like she's having a casual day. Her and Melody hug at the door. And Ne Fletcher, it almost felt like this is what we're going to talk about scene. You know how you can tell when someone we're just going to go over and talk about the girls' trip, and I'm going to have this whole, Melody, I'm mad at you because I thought you gave Sunday the better room and I should have had the better room. When she was saying that, I was like, this can't be a real conversation. Personally, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is just a fluff scene until I heard Melody say, well, speaking of mad, if anybody should be mad, it should be me. And when she said that, I was like, well, damn, what are they about to do? Because we already saw the clip. I don't think Ne Fletcher was expecting that, though, okay? Melody had already hit her with calling her old. She was like, listen, I honestly didn't expect you to give a shit. You are the oldest one. And Ne Fletcher was like, y'all ain't going to keep doing that to me. How you know I'm the oldest one, right? But you could also tell after she called her the oldest one, she was, just a little bit sheepish after that. Like, oh shit. Like, she didn't want to be called the oldest one, but, or she didn't want any type of, comments about her age. But then when Melody said, well, you were talking about me, or you said something about me in this interview with Crystal XO, and I didn't like it. And Nell said, well, what did I say? Like, she really didn't think she did anything wrong. And she said, what did I say? She said, well, you said that I was no better, or I'm just as bad as Martell. And she said, I didn't say that. I'm sure I didn't say that. Melody said, you did. You called me stubborn. You called me bullheaded or something like that. And she said, now that I did probably say, but I didn't say you were just as bad as Martell. I'm going to need to see the footage, right? And Melody pulls out her little camera, her little cell phone, and she plays it for her. And it wasn't quite you're as bad as Martell. I think she said they both do things. And then she also said that there's, she was asked a question. The storyline opens with Martell being arrested. Everybody, that was a hot topic. That's when she ended up interviewing with the woman. And she said, how did you guys feel? Ne Fletcher said, it's draining. They can be draining, or it's draining. And that is something that Melody did not like at all. That's literally what set it off. Now, let me just say this, because I saw two sides, okay? Melody basically ends up saying, I didn't appreciate you saying that shit. I don't call on you for nothing, okay? Ne Fletcher said, well, I have mentored you, Mel, to which Mel basically gave her that laugh of death that we have seen her do countless times on this show with people. She did it with Tisha when Tisha said, no, there's never been infidelity in my marriage. What did she say? I have two aunties who've never had infidelity. They're celebrating like 30 years and 50 years married, never infidelity. And I've never experienced in my marriage infidelity. And Melody gave the same kind of laugh that she gave to Ne Fletcher. She gave it to Tisha in that first season. She had Marsau sitting there with his hands clasped together like he was in prayer, like, please don't do this. But we saw it with that. She's done it with Martell a gazillion times. I think most recently she did it with him. Was it at that, I think that tea, I think they went for that tea place. They went to have tea in season 7, right? And Martell was trying to act like he was squashing beef or whatever. I don't remember what he said to Melody, but I do know that she laughed him to smithereens. And Martell started looking around the production like, what's going on? That's the same exact laugh. She ended up doing the happy dance, popping and bopping. You ain't never mentored me. Oh my God, mentor. Child, you could see Ne Fletcher's face right here. It got so stiff. And she was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, she could not connect the dots for nothing. Melody ended up saying, at the end of the day, I go to therapy. I got a mama, and I talk to the sweet Lord, baby Jesus. And what you ain't going to do is act like I call you for anything. Okay? Because I don't call you for nothing. And I think I think she said something to the effect of, I don't fucking call you about anything that's happening or the happenings going on. And I was just like, oh shit. She basically said at the end of the day, she made her high five her. She said, keep my name and anything I have going on out your mouth. If somebody asks you a question about me, you need to say, I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about me and what I got going on. And Ne Fletcher agreed to it. Now, here's the thing. Nell's face looked absolutely drained. But here's the thing, because I didn't know, for me, I'm on the outside looking in, watching the show like y'all. And y'all know that I have been a Ne Fletcher supporter, right? When Ne Fletcher came in season 6, because Ne Fletcher was coming on with Chris Fletcher at the very beginning, season 1, and they were coming on as mentor and counselor really mean the same thing. I had to look it up because I was like, what did I miss? But it does mean the same thing. It just means that someone who's had a little more experience than you in certain things, you talk to them and they show you, how to get things done or show you a different way. Someone you hold in high regard. Anyway, she clearly is letting her know that she doesn't hold her in high regard. But in season 6, when Mel comes back in It's with Ne Fletcher. Melody had been showing herself going to Ne Fletcher's house on social media. If y'all remember that, they were taking pictures together, wishing each other happy birthday. Melody went over after the court case was done to talk to the Fletchers first about what happened in the courtroom. And she thanked Chris Fletcher for not lying on the stand for Martell. Like, she was giving personal details. There was some other stuff that happened in that season where she said Martell, follows me around, and Ne Fletcher said, I didn't know that. And she kind of cried on Ne Fletcher's shoulder a little bit. Ne Fletcher cried on her shoulder a little about her children. And Melody even said, why didn't you come to that Millimeter event? Because you call me about everything else. So it did feel like they had a true friendship. And I can understand how Ne Fletcher wouldn't have expected Melody to respond to her like that, because they did bring that shit together to the screen. They brought it to the screen together. Melody basically snuffing Ne Fletcher out on camera. She snuffed her out and said, at the end of the day, don't say shit else about me. And it felt like she was saying to her, with a smile on her face on part of it, this friendship isn't what you think it is. I don't want it anymore. That's what I was giving. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. This is news. This is news that we had not seen before. And Ne Fletcher did not respond to her the way she responded to her husband later, but she did say, I understand, and I won't do that anymore. I won't do that anymore, right? So I did look up mentoring. People are saying that that's not mentoring. Let's look it up together, child, because sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we get hit with this new information, and I just didn't know. Let's look. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me blow up the screen. So it says, a mentor is a trusted advisor who provides guidance, support, and advice to someone to help someone reach their full potential. Mentors are typically more experienced or knowledgeable than a person they are mentoring, known as the mentee. And then in that middle section, it says, mentors can help mentees in many ways, including providing feedback, encouragement, sharing expertise, offering insight, serving as a role model, acting as a teacher or counselor. So it does have similar, okay? Very similar, actually, definition or meaning. But at the end of the day, it does not matter, because what Melody was actually trying to get across to her is that you're not my mentor anymore. She is done. She's tired. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This is what I like about having these kind of conversations and stuff like that, because we see one side sometimes and we don't see everything. Melody is in a place right now where she cannot stand Martell. Okay. I've seen her all. I've seen her say on the Love and Marriage Huntsville platform. I've seen her say outside of that, I wish that man was not my children's father. Okay. You know what space you have to be in to say that out loud? I don't want this man to be my children's father. So if that is how she feels, she's internalizing that, then watching people have conversations over you and your experience might make you feel a way. You know what I'm saying? And you end up diminishing them or whatever their experiences are. You will do that. But at one time, this may have been their situation. And now Ne Fletcher is kind of, making her debut on this show and speaking on it, saying, well, this is who I was on this show before. This was my place in this person's life. And Melody's saying, you're not that. You're not that. I don't even want to talk about that man in real life to anybody. And I sure as hell don't want you on any platform talking about that man on, or me putting both of our names in the same sentences, saying that this is who we used to be to you, because I don't want to be in that space anymore. And is it hurtful? Hell yeah, it's hurtful. It's very hurtful. But this is the type of shit that happens, and you may have to walk away from it for a little bit and then have that person, have some space in it and then come back. Just like Chris said at the end of it. At the end of the day, these two people were going through some real shit where Melody was maybe trying to save her marriage. I won't even say maybe. She said she was trying to save her marriage. It's not a secret. She was trying to save her marriage. She had a baby before that marriage ended. So she was trying to save her marriage. She was doing those things to save it. It didn't happen. But now she is so far removed from having any care for Martell. She may not care if he live or die, that she does not want people to talk about her in the same sentence with Martell, period. So that's what I got out of it. And I've heard people say stuff like that before, and you got to have people around you who can share with you what's going on with you at the time. I've had experiences like that where I've been like, I can't believe that bitch was talking about this, that, and the other, and I don't with that person anymore. And somebody very, very grown, like my mama or somebody, will say, listen, that person was somebody to you back then, and you, okay, are really wilding out by trying to make or diminish who that person was to you. So don't do that. Somebody has to do that, though. So sometimes you get so blinded by your own hate or rage for a person or a thing that you can't always reflect on that properly. Okay. But anyway, and I see what you guys are saying. And Clone, you don't have to put me in my place, child. Clone says it's probably me that has to put you in your place. Somebody usually have to say that to you. Somebody sometimes have to say those things to you. But when she brought her on, that was the role she described her as. And it's a role that, for whatever reason, Ne Fletcher takes pride in. But somebody has to talk to you sometimes and tell you. I know we like to think that we can walk through this life without anybody giving us guidance or mentoring us, but that's not true. It has never been true. Okay. Now let's talk about Kimmy and Maurice real quick, because these two, oh my effing God. Okay. Let me see. What else y'all talking about? Y'all cannot stand Ne Fletcher. A lot of you just can't stand her. Let's see. Melody has outgrown those cast members and she is done. That's what it felt like. This episode actually felt like that. And if y'all remember, in January or whenever this shit came on, season 8, Melody actually shows up in her second episode with Shanita, and it's Shanita who says to her, Mel, you're going to have to make these people pick a side or you're going to have to end friendships. That was an episode. That was a scene with Melody. And then it went from that to Melody going on the girls' trip, to which when we watched that last episode, it felt like Melody was saying everybody was in a good space. We are getting somebody completely different, and they're not necessarily giving us any of the other part of the story. It just feels disjointed a little bit. But right now, she seems like she pissed as hell at everybody, child. Okay, let's talk about Kimmy and Maurice. So this is following Maurice getting arrested for DUI, which looks like earlier this week, we found out that the state dropped the case, and they said they dropped it because the cops improperly handled the arrest, and that also they used an instrument that was considered illegal to test him. So there was 2 things that happened, and it said all charges dropped and any fees that was spent would be reimbursed to him. So that sounds like a big deal, and I don't know what the specifics are, but that is what they're saying. Okay. So Maurice and Kimmy are at home, and Kimmy, they have to talk about it. They have to talk about what happened. And Kimmy basically says, listen, what's going on with you? Is there anything that I can help you with? Because sometimes I feel like there's things you don't tell me that you purposely keep from me. What word did she use exactly? You're not forthright is how she put it. There's things that I can tell you're not being forthright about, and I can't help you if you don't talk to me. And Maurice says, what are you talking about, right? She was like, well, maybe you're doing it to protect me, which is really just to build his ego, because that's not what you meant when you said you're not being forthright. And you can tell that because Kimmy's face was contorting in 100 different ways. I mean, she was sucking and poking her lips out, and her neck looked stretched. I mean, she just looked like she had it. But Maurice basically is like, well, I don't think there is anything that you can help me with. That's how he puts it. I don't think that there's anything you can help me with. This is my first time being in this situation. I'm embarrassed. I've let a lot of people down. And in regards to the public is going to view me guilty until proven innocent. So those things are what they are. Okay. But there was something that Kimmy said that freaked me out as a wife. She said, and I didn't like how he responded to it. So it's not what he said. It's not what Kimmy said. It's what Maurice said that freaked me out. But Kimmy says, listen, I woke up that morning. You weren't at home. You weren't in the bed. You weren't where you're supposed to be. I honestly thought you might have fallen asleep in the office. So I'm assuming she may have called him at the office and there were no calls. And that's when Kimmy got into her car. Okay. Not calling his brother, not calling whoever, you know what I'm saying, to say, listen, have you heard from this man? But she got into her car and started driving around the city. And I'm assuming not just to the office. Okay, I'm going to add into this because when someone goes and get in your car to drive someplace, if you are a woman, you're going to all the spots you think he might be. Okay. So you got in your car and you said, I went to the office. Bitch, you could have called him at the office. You could have called him on his cell phone. And if those phones don't answer, you're literally looking for him at spots you think he might be. That's how I'm going to read that storyline. Okay. It was definitely given he's out there doing shit and you're turning the other cheek at this point. You're turning a blind eye to it. But then she basically says, you know, I'm sorry I put you through this. I didn't want to do that. In confessional, Kimmy said, well, I'm a nurse. So, you know, my first instinct is that maybe he's in the hospital. Well, you didn't say he was in the hospital. You said you got in your car to drive to the office to make sure his ass wasn't there. Where's his car? Where's all the things that you should be finding? Okay. And then she basically said, so when I got the call, I was really shocked. I was shook up. And then she says something else that I found to be very interesting. She said, how did she put it? She said that when something about the marriage being in a situation where she had to trust the process is what she said. She said, I had to trust the process when it comes to our marriage. I want to take care of him. He wants to take care of me. So I have to trust the process. I've been married for a long time and I've never used the words trust the process. Ever. I don't even fucking know what that means. What are you saying, Kimmy? At this point, Kimmy, I do believe that you are in an open marriage. I believe you're in an open marriage. I think that you guys have rules, or maybe you have rules, and he's supposed to be at the house at a certain time, or whatever the case may be. He's supposed to call, and he didn't do any of those things. He didn't do any of those things. And you basically shared that in that moment. Going out of your home to go to a job because you thought he fell asleep. Never in a gazillion years. Furthermore, if your man ain't home, you are definitely going to know it. Like, if I fall asleep and somebody's not in the house, I'm waking up in the middle. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Where are you? I'm calling. Where are you? Okay. You got to know those things. That's set up pretty early in the relationship too, because y'all were together for 7 years before getting married. So it's not like this is a brand new situation. So when she says stuff like, I trust the process in marriage, it's suggesting that there was a whole different set of rules before it. And this is just all lame at this point. Okay. You think that Kimmy gets her swerve on too? I hope so, Mildred. I hope she gets her swerve on. Kimmy is a very attractive woman. I think she's really pretty. I think that she is very smart. I think that she tolerates certain things from Maurice that makes her look weak. And that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Because we are on the outside looking in, but Maurice does really it's almost like he wants her to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like he's running things, and it's just not good. I don't like it. I don't like it. Kimmy can't fulfill Maurice's his intimacy needs. I agree. But she did say that. She already said that when she had that meeting with Dr. Francis, that that has been an ongoing conversation in their relationship, that they always have talked about her not being enough for his appetite. And so maybe there's things that she has decided to overlook. She's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of people out there who do that in marriage. And that could be their arrangement. And she's not saying that completely, but she definitely was saying something, because I just was like, I don't know. I would have definitely, if you left here, I would have called the bar. I would have called Marsau, Tisha. Y'all wake y'all asses up. Whoever your brothers are, I need everybody in the street. Where is Maurice? I'm calling the hospital. I'm calling the police department. If this was unusual. But what she said was, I thought you fell asleep at your office, to be honest. Like that's something that might have happened before. No, that doesn't happen. You don't fall asleep at the office, sir. Bring your ass home. There's no kids there. There's nothing that's disrupting you or disturbing you. You can be in a room, upstairs, downstairs, wherever. There's just too much. There's too much leniency in this marriage that doesn't happen in marriage. It doesn't happen for couples that, you know, unless you got that arrangement, for couples that live in the house with each other. It sounds like you want to be single. That's what you do when you live in another house, period. Okay. But those are my feelings. Again, it's commentary. It does not necessarily mean it's true. It's just how it was presented, period. Okay. Maurice chips away every chance he gets. It may have gotten more severe with the faking it. Okay. Well, let's move on to Trisha and Ken. Woo! I was looking all day and night for some sort of post from Mr. Woot Woot, because I thought for sure he was gonna like strike back at Ken and Trisha regarding this scene right here, but he did not. Mr. Woot Woot has stayed off a line. So whatever happened in that 4.5 hour, damn near 5 hour conversation must have really been, you know, they must have really had a meeting of the minds, okay? But this scene wasn't a big deal. At the end of the day, Trisha basically said that their son turned 18, and that she was shocked at how he, you know, have been running around, beating his chest, making it seem like he's that guy when it comes to being a father and this estranged husband. And she said at the end of the day, he is not. She said this man damn near missed his son, his only son, I'm assuming. Does he have other children? I don't know. I thought he did in one scene, but maybe not. She said missing his son's graduation, and she said the only way he got there is because they had to cash app him gas money, okay? Send him a Zelle, a PayPal, okay? They had to get him some Lucci so that he could put gas in his car and drive on down to the Huntsville, which is about 4 hours away. And I could not believe it. I could not believe it. I could not. I thought it was it was interesting. I would not want anybody to have that kind of tea over my head, the way he has been running around talking all this crazy shit, and you know that they can pull, you didn't have any gas money out their pocket. You show yourself all the time, Marquez, standing with people, talking about your networking and doing business moves and all this other stuff, and how t-shirts are coming out and all this stuff. And I'm not saying that's bad. Please do all the networking. Please do all the business. But also, please know to pipe down if you are being financially supported, even with gas money, to see your children. It doesn't make sense. So I don't know. Okay. It was shocking to me. All right. So that's pretty much it for that scene. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Very interesting, since he's moved back to Huntsville. He was not living in Huntsville when the graduation happened. And I remember this because this was back in when I saw the pictures for the graduation, I think back in January or so. So it would have been posted before then. So it was last year that it happened. It was last year. I heard that he said he keeps a good job, and I also heard that he does things to get fired from that job. He loses those good jobs. And even Marquez says that he can, he can get a good job. But at the end of the day, does not matter. Don't let that storyline, don't let people be able to say those things over you. Just like you don't want, Martell should not want Melody to say, I have to send Uber Eats to your house to feed my children. Like if that is in somebody's back pocket, don't do it. Don't make them say it. Okay. That's too much. That's too much. Okay. But anyway, that was the scene for the most part. Moving on. Let's talk about Ne Fletcher and Chris a little bit. So we started this conversation earlier when Mel was at the house. Ne Fletcher said that she, agreed. Now, I'm also going to say, because I didn't see the end part of that, she said, I was a do girl for Melody. In the end of this scene, she says, I was a do girl for Melody. And she said, I agree with her when she's wrong, but I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And I think she felt that the scene may have embarrassed her. So this conversation she's having with Chris right now is one where she's saying, this is what we used to do. And she's asking me not to talk about it anymore. She said, my mama was sick when I would take those late night phone calls or when we would leave our home to go and counsel or mentor or however you want to use those words, Melody and Martell. And again, Melody is just in a place where I don't give two fucks what happened with Martell. And she's willing to sever all relationships, including if you're connected to him, it's out of her life. That was a conversation that she had again with Shanita earlier in the season, last season. So if y'all remember that, feels like what's being poured out here. But they don't know that because before this, Melody used to say, like she said to Ne Fletcher, when I think it was it Tisha who said, I don't know if I should be friends with Ne Fletcher because Melody and Ne Fletcher are friends. And Melody says to Tisha and to Ne Fletcher, I've never told you guys to sever relationships because of me. You go to that bar, you ain't never asked my permission. You hang out with them, you've never asked my permission. So she was making it seem like it was cool. Sometimes that shit just sneak up on you. I kid you not. Where you wake up in the morning, you be like, everything that's connected to this motherfucker, I don't want anything to do with. And that's what it feels like it's happening for her right now. But Ne Fletcher is not understanding that. She just knows that she went to their house and she told her to keep her name out of her mouth. So she's having this conversation with her husband. And she said, I feel like I was a real friend. I was doing certain things. And now she is telling me this. And for me, it does not feel good. I did not like the way she handled me. And I didn't tell her that when I was at her home. I didn't tell her that. But where I am right now, if I have to step back from this friendship, I will. I won't continue it because I'm going to need her to have some space, which I appreciated. I need her to have some space to recognize what is real or true for her. And, I'm not there to hurt her. Okay. Again, we all know that this is television. We all know that this is television. We all know that they walk into these scenes knowing what they're going to talk about. And sometimes when they don't get the scene that they want, because they know that the shit looks like eggs boiling, the producer is going to tell them to step it up. And every single one of those people with contracts will step it up. All of them, not one, but every single one. Okay, every single one. So that's true for all of them. But this is what she says to her husband, which is a conversation that I would have with mine. If that happened to me, I would have the same conversation if I felt like, and I have been that person. I've always been a person that people called all times of night. I am in bed, sleep with my husband beside me, and someone will call and say, girl, I got to talk to you. This is happening. I've always been that person. So I would feel bad if I had my mama at my house and I woke up and left my house to go someplace else. But that's me. Okay, that's how I saw it. And again, I just think at this point, you probably should go your separate ways until there is some space and some healing there. Maybe there'll never be. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the end of the road. Okay, but we'll have to see what happens next. And a lot of people, again, I think Nell was divorced from the first husband. Nell was disrespectful to Melody in the interview. I watched that interview. I didn't see what you guys saw, but I also, I understand that some people may not have liked it. I think that Melody and Ne Fletcher had a different relationship than what we see with Melody and anybody else on the cast, including Destiny. I think that it was a different kind of relationship. What did you say? Mentor hours should be from 9 to 5. Sometimes mentor hours aren't 9 to 5. Sometimes people need you. Sometimes people need you when you're going through something. And I think all of you believe that Melody was really going through it. During those first couple of years, I think a lot of y'all thought Melody was going through it and that, people were begging her to have a friend on the show that understood what she was going through. I think people begged for that. Okay. I appreciate you guys. Please make sure y'all hit my like button. I see the comments. I love you guys too very much. And I appreciate all 884 of you. And I hope that we continue to have these conversations every week. Okay. With all things. Okay. Just follow me. You are safe over here, child. I don't care. But this is end up being the conversation. Chris ends up supporting her in this and just saying, at the end of the day, if you guys really are friends, you will be able to walk away from each other knowing that maybe this is just a bump in the road, a pause. And if, things are meant to work out, then you'll see the other person's position eventually. That's true. That's how friends work. That is true. That is true. Even Melody said when she brought Ne Fletcher back in season 6, she said Nell was the only person that did not pester me about what's going on with you, where are you, blah, blah, blah. She said, I ended up cutting Ne Fletcher off when I divorced Martell. I cut her off and she never once pestered me. And she was, she seemed really excited to have Mel around. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's talk about the last scene. The last scene was Shanita and Melody, and baby, Melody was not. Melody handed everybody their ass in this scene. She said, F a girls trip. I don't even remember the girls trip, okay? She said, I would never be friends with any one of these motherfuckers, okay? She let loose. She let loose. Melody is having some sort of charity event in Huntsville. And I'm not sure if she invited the Scotts or anyone else on the cast to participate in it. I'm not sure. But Shanita did not need gas money. She drove in from Atlanta and she decided to help out her friend Melody. Melody is there and she is dogging everybody up front. She's like, listen, they're not here. These people aren't my real friends. They've never showed up for me when I needed them to show up for me. They rarely do. They rarely finance anything that I have going on. I'm there for them and I finance more of what they have going on than they ever have. Okay. And I was like, oh shit. Where are we again? Are we making things? Are we making up or are we not? What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? I'm going to ask y'all first in the comments because I feel like we got off track, but I just don't understand when. I see people saying about time, stop protecting these people. She didn't want them around her, her words. Okay, so she didn't invite them. She said she didn't want them around her. I think that Nell was sent to groom Mel. Groom. Now, again, y'all remember after they divorced, Melody did not talk to Ne Fletcher for damn near 2 years, it felt like. There was no talking to her. So she can't groom her if they weren't around. She just came back season 6. I think that was when they were introduced as full-time cast members in season 6. So that would have been last year. They do 2 seasons a year. Let's see what else. But they wanted Mel to participate in the expo. Okay. This was a fake and staged scene. Fake, 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 fake. The senior homeless people for her brand. What? Hold on. Senior homeless people for her brand. Then she running her mouth about Maurice to Shanita. Okay, so you did not support that scene whatsoever. That's cool. Everybody has an opinion. I understand. During the marriage, she pretty much distanced herself from them in season 2. She said that when she stopped filming. She did distance herself. She has been, and I think for me, especially in season, I think 4, when she returns in season 4, is it 4 or 5? Maybe 5. I think after season 4 reunion, she was like really done. When she comes back in season 5, right? She's really just she's not fucking with anybody, no one on the cast, the women or the men. She almost seemed like she was filming almost every scene by herself. I think that was when things were going on between Martell and Melody, and that may have been like the first time they started going through court. So she was out. She was out then, right? Season 5 reunion, Melody says on stage, "I will never fuck with y'all. I don't like y'all. I'm not sure why Martell stays in these friendships with y'all." That I remember that conversation and her saying, "I'm done. You will never do to me what y'all do to Martell." Season 6, she comes back and she says, "I need to take baby steps. I need to take baby steps." They was going to the spa to get massages and stuff like that. And she was walking out of the scene like, "Well, time's up. I got to go. I'm not staying for this." Right? Like it was all of that. When we get this Melody who's taking the girls on vacation, I'm like, oh, so at least they made a decision to just come to the show and film. That's what I thought. I thought they were like, well, fuck it, we'll just film. Like some of the girls on RHOA does. I don't know, but now we have circled the block. We've circled the block when it will get to the scene with Shanita. Melody's like, "I don't fuck with anybody still. I can't do it." That's what she's giving. And then she proceeds to just dog the hell out of everybody. Okay. She said, "Listen, at the end of the day, let's talk about Maurice. He is absolutely the most childish of the bunch. Okay. I think he's the oldest male outside of Chris here, but he has always been the most childish out of the bunch." Because Shanita was asking, well, what happened? Stuff like that. Melody said he got picked up for drunk driving, and now I guess they are circling the wagon over there with Maurice and trying to, put Band-Aids on his wounds. So they're not here with me at this event. And Melody said, "Did you hear about it?" To which Shanita, because I was not expecting this, Shanita said, "Yeah." She said, "Wow. Yeah." I actually felt bad for him because, that has to be embarrassing. I wasn't expecting Shanita to show empathy to Maurice. I just wasn't. It caught me off guard. I honestly thought she was going to say, "I don't fuck with him either, Mel. I don't deal with drunks, blah, 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 blah." But Melody just went in. She said at the end of the day, it was absolutely irresponsible. It was irresponsible for him to get arrested. It was irresponsible for him to show up the next day on camera with everybody saying things like, "I told y'all they freed my boy Reese," da, 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 da. And then him, showing videos of him drinking and dancing and stuff. She said, "I did not like that shit either. My grandmother lost her life to a drunk driver." And she ends up saying that. But she was disgusted. She was pissed. She really didn't leave a whole lot of room for apologies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how this is going to play out, especially now that, well, the reunion's already filmed. But we're going to get this scene next week where she's going to say some things to Kimmy. And based on Kimmy's face, she looks fit to be tied, to be honest. But Melody, at the end of the day, said, "I'm disgusted." Okay. None of these people are meeting the bar for Black excellence. She said they're all just I guess they haven't done anything with their lives or with their businesses, is what it sounds like she was saying. I think that they would beg to differ. I've heard Marcel on many occasions sit on the reunion stage and say that he is really proud of where everybody is and the things that they've done since being on the show, from getting their degrees to opening up businesses, and that they have done certain things for the community. Melody is saying that they did not. They've even said they're proud of Mel, that like at the end of the day, this is coming from Marcel, Melody would not be who she is and where she is if it was not for the show. Like, it accelerated all of our success. Maybe that's the way to put it. It's accelerated our success in ways that would have never happened without the show. We would still, be at trying to do step 3 or 4 as opposed to step 15 or 20. So it's going to be interesting, because I think what happened in this scene is probably going to set off a war. And we're going to see. Marsau shades Melody every chance he gets. That's absolutely true. He shades and he also compliments. He does both. But such is reality TV. Marsau shaded Melody's business. He did shade Melody's business. And Melody has shaded his. She just said in this scene, F your couch, Negro. F your couch, okay? She just shaded him in the scene. We have to pay attention to the fact that everybody shades everybody. Melody actually said before this season even played out, you're going to see season 1 Mel, and season 1 Mel showed up in this episode multiple times. Multiple times. We keep looking for this tit for tat. Look at the show as the show. They are all shading each other right now. Okay. Everybody, for the most part, when they were talking about Maurice, drinking and driving, they all seem to have given a little bit of grace. Okay. Except for Melody. Melody said, I have personal experience with this. I don't like the shit. I don't think what he did was right. And I don't like how they handled themselves afterwards. Okay. So she's hot. She's hot, and this is how she's expressing herself about it. This is not what I signed up for. So we'll have to see. Is she going to sign up for it again in season 10? This is what it sounds like to me. But her friend Shanita did give a little bit of grace. She did give a little bit of grace and said that she felt bad for him and she thought that it was embarrassing. This is the conversation that they are having. We did see Maurice out there partying again. I think it was Memorial Day weekend, right? It was Memorial Day weekend. You heard Chris in the scene say, I was like, damn, Maurice, did he get arrested? You know what I'm saying? And then I think his son got arrested the week after. You know what I mean? Not for this, though. I'm not for sure. Was it for drinking and driving? Or was it for something else? Talk to me in the chat if y'all remember. But I remember Chris's son got arrested after that. Chris and Ne Fletcher's son got arrested after that. But yeah, this is the type of shit that happens, y'all. It happens all the time. But this is TV. This is what this is supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be. Tell your real feelings and get it out there. Drinking and driving isn't cool, for sure. Okay. Someone's saying that they believe that the Fletcher's son may have hit a car and he was drunk too. Okay. Then there was another incident with Lance being pulled over. Same weekend. Correct. So yeah. In that scene, Trisha said that she was going to make a free re-sign. Correct. So we are going to see how they step up to the plate and respond to this, period. Next week, conversations are going to be had, Melody and Kimmy, and then whoever else talks about it. Because we heard Marcel make a comment like, I'm surrounded by a bunch of criminals or something like that. So why did they say that Kimmy was on 10 at the reunion against Melody? I don't know. I did hear that was on DJ Richie Sky's channel. I think that Carlos King said something like, someone you would least expect flipped out. And a lot of people were assuming it was Kimmy, and they think that Kimmy went against Melody about something. At the moment, I don't know. But as this season goes, We're going to find out, okay? When Kimmy and Melody left that girls trip, Kimmy was, telling her how much she did a great job, and I'm really happy I came, and all of that stuff. So again, sometimes people flip the script, child. But that's it. That was the episode in a nutshell. In a nutshell. And I saw a lot of people giving a lot of different comments in the chat, and I appreciate it. I cannot tell you enough. I think every single one of y'all are amazing. I'm glad that you come over. Sometimes I go back and I'll read the comments, and it'll help me think about things differently. And that's all we can do. My job is to look at this show from every angle I can and bring it to y'all. That's what I enjoy doing. Sometimes I don't get it right. And when I go back and watch it, I'm like, oh, you're right. This is what you told me. Okay. I remember it. So anyway, let's try to have old school YouTube back again. Okay. Old school YouTube. Everybody, let's do it. If you can't do it anywhere else, you can do it over here. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. It was an interesting episode. I actually give this episode a solid 10. I'm going to give it a solid 10. Okay. I thought that they dealt with real issues, real friendship issues, real everything. Like, I know some of these conversations, not the conversation Kimmy had with her husband, though. I've never had that conversation. It was a first for me, but I appreciate watching Kimmy have that conversation and allowing it to open my mind to some of the lies that could be told if you're in a marriage. If somebody come home and tell you some bullshit like that, be prepared to pack some things, okay? Be prepared to pack a bag. Somebody gonna have to leave that day. All right. But outside of that, you guys, you have been awesome as always. Thank you to all of my moderators. I love y'all. Thank you to everybody who showed up here. Make sure y'all following me on my other platforms at DYANAROZAY. What else? Hit that like button. 834 of y'all in here right now. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.